fake, his story slick. Underwear cut into a mask. Questions linger, they still ask. Waist diving, why won't you say the truth you hide? Night turns to day. Waist diving, why what lies behind the mask you wore still traps your mind. Confessions buried deep inside. A twisted thread can't be untied. Detectives probe the darkest parts to find what's hidden in his heart. The fat detective shadows creak. Stuyvesant makes no sounds, no little squeak. Toilet paper tubes and cans of corn. Under his mattress, a lawyer pawn. Waist diving, why won't you say the truth you hide? Night turns to day. Waist diving, why what lies behind the mask you wore still traps your mind. Andy the lawyer from Reno goes back in time. Jumps through errors like it's not a crime. Family ties he seeks to bend. In the past he's got a trend. He stepped through years with a mischievous grin. And his adventure's about to begin. Destined to twist love and fate. In the past he seals his fate. Time traveling and he's in Reno. Loving in the past like there's no tomorrow. Bloodline love, don't be absurd. In this world it's not so blood. Courthouse by day in history at night. And he's living in the wrong and right. Seeking love in the strangest places. Between times and faces. Through courthouse by day in history at night. And he's living in the wrong and right. Seeking love in the strangest places. Between times and faces. He wanders through centuries, igniting our destinies. A lawyer's heart bent on it says, time's tangled love at its best. Back to incest he just starts. We've love that's off the charts. From Reno into the past he swoops, creating endless family loops. Oh, oh, oh.
You're listening to FFOP Radio.
Reach the
Hey everybody, and welcome to the show. My name is Dave. This is FFOP Radio. It's Wednesday, so we got some retro stuff, some vintage stuff. Yeah. You know where to live to see the day where your vintage or the stuff that you like is. Well, we all got to get there. Whatever. It's not that funny, but people make fun of people for it. You say, oh, well, Grandpa Dave again. But, I'm still a kid. I'm still a kid.
Yeah.
Anyway, Krista, my co-host and producers, right over there off camera.
Hi.
What is up, Matt? Thank you for joining. I want to shout you out specifically for the wave. So here we are, people. I've got more of your favorite and my favorite retro commercials. These are all from around 1990. It's going to be another KTLA area. It's going to be in California. So hopefully we'll get some sort of local stuff because, I love the local homemade commercials. They're starting, I know I've talked about this before, but the local commercials like Pluto is now such a viable option.
Yeah.
That local businesses are putting together terrible commercials for Pluto. And I am over the moon about that because, that's the one thing I miss. Well, it's one of the few things I miss, rather, about live TV and everything was the terrible decisions artistically that people make when they're shooting a commercial for their business. Or they'll be like the black tank top version of the commercial where the owner of the business wants to be on camera, but he's not an on-air personality or talent.
Yep.
Whatever. We can get into that
and
later.
You can just tell.
Yeah, and it's always a tragic sort of... Because, we've all been there. You have a dick boss. And every local commercial with the boss as the star, you can tell which ones are dicks and which ones are just vain.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
The dicks are also vain, but the vanity doesn't necessarily bring dickishness. You know what I mean? They're not mutually exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, let me get this pulled in here, and we'll start watching some classic commercials and obviously stopping many times along the way to do stuff like this.
If you're the victim of an accident...
Wait a second. I forgot to do one little thing. I'm not going to...
Immediately stop.
Well, because here's the thing. I've brought this up before, and it's an annoying behind-the-scenes thing, and I'm sorry. But every time the Bluetooth from one computer connects to this board... it sucks. Sucks from stem to stern. Soup to nuts. I've disconnected and reconnected it or turned it off and on again if you're an IT crap fan.
accident and you've been injured, you need a legal
no cooking.
specialist to help you get the settlement you deserve. We have over 20 years of experience helping people injured in all kinds of accidents. We help you get excellent medical attention, your
Airplane.
vehicle repaired or replaced as soon as
First one.
possible.
Was your child's bus hit by a train? Paul Grossman?
If you can't come to us, we'll come to you at home, work, or the hospital.
We'll bring our
We have
Samsonite
obtained over
briefcases.
$30 million for clients.
For Joe Smith?
Wow.
I mean, that one client alone, $30 million
All the law
apparently.
offices of Paul Grossman today.
Look at that terrible rainbow. Oh my God. What a beautiful rainbow that is.
George Edison has so many ways to save on my electric bill, I can't decide. I'll have the steak. I could buy an energy-efficient air conditioner
She
or a
looks,
heat
it
pump.
looks the same for the last
Salad.
50 years.
Or I
That's the thing. There are some people that just get to an age where they look old, but then they stay there.
Yeah.
Everybody likes to talk about Picard, how he basically got to where he is now. But, I mean, look at TNG and look at today, and you'll see there's some
difference.
more cracks in that stucco.
Yeah, he
than there
still
were
looks
before.
good, though, for
Right, but that's the thing.
how old he is.
The bar was set once he lost all of his hair at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Betty White just, sort of slammed her foot on the gas pedal into looking like an old lady. And then, coast for the next 50, 60 years of your life.
Yeah.
Or I could buy a high-efficiency refrigerator. Edison would give me a rebate.
Blue cheese or French?
French. Or should I buy an energy-efficient welcome home?
Fries or baked?
Baked, no chives.
And you, sir?
I'll have a heat pump. Well done.
For more choices, call Edison, and together we can
You guys get
brighten the
that
future.
reference?
No.
I don't know if there is a reference. That was definitely George Burns. He didn't have a cigar. He didn't tell a joke. They just sort of wheeled him into scene. And I'll have a heat pump. Oh, almost as depressing as when Kmart was still a thing. Big Kmart was one of their last gasps at being a thing. And it was so sad. Even as a kid, I was like, that's not right. Someone should have stopped this. Because I love Bob Hope and Bing Crosby in all of the Road 2 movies. And and I also loved Kmart. So when this commercial popped and it was discover the difference at Big Kmart and all this stuff is happening. And this man with a golf baseball hat behind a paper at a diner, he pulls his paper down and he goes, that's wild. And I was like, he looked like a zombie. That was the reanimated body of Bob Hope. It was just And then they did, because I'm sure they wanted him to be like up and sprightly and what would you say, like enthusiastic and like young. But like when he gets like at the end of the commercial, when he's like, that's wild, you know, poor old dead Bob Hope buying his nude paper. He like gets up and he like walks out the door to leave the diner, but they had to speed it up like 800%, so he just looks like a flash. Because otherwise, I'm sure he looked like a rickety old dude and took 45 seconds to take 3 feet of progress.
Nipple butter.
Welcome to Nipple Butter. I was working on an AI song for the Nipple Butter. Nothing came out to my liking. I may try again later. I don't know. I tried funk. I tried pop. There was a little new metal thrown in. It just
new metal was not good.
No.
From Hollywood Pictures, conman Jimmy Dworsky has found businessman Spencer Barnes' datebook.
All right.
My life is in there.
Now, Jimmy's got the key to a whole new life.
I'm on Dynasty.
But unfortunately, it's going to cost Spencer everything he owns.
This is a disaster.
Charles Grodin and James Belushi.
You must be Spencer.
James Belushi.
Thank you, God.
Taking care of business.
Want to join me?
Sure.
So many things like this happened in the late 80s and early 90s where like trading places was a thing. Like whether you were Dan Aykroyd and Eddie Murphy or you were these odd couple people, like it was insane. Like you would just like, or you were doing a body switch with Freaky Friday or like the twin swapperoo.
Yeah.
I mean, that was a little earlier than this, but like that's always been sort of like a running gag in my life is either like they look enough alike there it's like, oh, whoa, it's just a big old kawaii-dig. Like, what is it? God dang it. It's like Bette Midler and Lily Tomlin and like, whatever. If you know the movie, Ryan, you probably know the movie. Bette Midler, Lily Tomlin, they're twins and they both get separated and swapped at birth and like one of the Bette Midlers is evil, but the other one's good and both Lily Tomlins are good. Why did I stop to tell this story? Oh, all the changing places and shit. Like no one had their own identity. Like for some reason in the 80s and 90s, we were just like, wouldn't it be wild if you woke up and like your entire shit was flipped upside down because you found a date book or whatever? It's not Face Off.
Rated R. Starts
Probably
Friday at the
Kmart
theater near
commercial.
you.
Big business, mate. I was thinking it had business in the title, but maybe.
At SKA Rent-to-Own,
That Kmart commercial was
$12.95 will
hosted by
deliver
Penny
any
Marshall.
item in our stores to your home. Call now and rent
Well, that-
items like TVs, VCRs, stereos, furniture, washer dryers, and
She did her
refrigerators
fair share of
for just
directing.
$12.95. That's right. You
Whoa!
can rent brand name remote control TVs,
Ska,
VCRs,
rent-to-own.
washer dryers,
Horns.
even a refrigerator for just $12.95. Call now for same-day delivery and free service. There's no obligation and no credit check. Call SKA
We
Rent-to-Own
literally
at
will not check your credit.
1-800-457-3626. Call now.
I'm going to go to the Anaheim one because I'm going to pop over to Disneyland real quick.
Introducing the GE Takeout Counter.
Huh?
It lets you have instant access to something as large as a gallon of milk. Provides enough counter space to make a 2-foot sandwich. But perhaps its most incredible feature is that each one comes with 25 cubic feet of the most intelligently designed refrigerator.
Do you know why we don't have any of these doors on our refrigerators now? Because it's a dumbass idea. Like they're saving you like the price of just opening your entire door to get some milk and then extolling the virtues of which I find none of a shelf to prepare food on while like again, I realize the door is smaller, but if you're going to be sitting there making a sandwich on this door, which you're probably going to have to like clean because it's sitting in your like, hello, so like make a fucking submarine sandwich on it.
Just a 3-foot sandwich.
Yeah,
No
it's
big
just
deal.
like all the cold air is just blowing past the milk and the OJ and the purple stuff, and you're like, hey kids.
Which you still need to take the stuff out of the big fridge because it's not all going to fit in that little.
Right, like. Did she like? She's reaching past all the stuff and like grabbing single slices of cheese over like the mayonnaise and stuff. Like this is insane.
Penny Marshall was the first woman to direct a movie that made over $100 million.
I want to say it was A League of Their Own, but I could be wrong.
At no extra charge. The GE Space Center 25.
Don't like it? We'll put some doors on the bottom for your dog to get in and take shits on your crisper drawer.
A boy's best friend is his mother.
From the mastermind of terror comes the master.
I went on a kick watching like all of this is back obviously I shouldn't say obviously because you guys don't know me, but back when Blockbusters and shit existed, I went on a kick with an old girlfriend. She wasn't old. I was young. We were both young at the time. It's old in the past. We watched like all, because I was like, what's up with Hitchcock? And we watched like all the Hitchcock things on DVD. I was like, whoa, that's one of those staples where it's just like you see the pastiches and the homages or the satires of things. Like, I feel like I don't need to see Citizen Kane because I've seen it everywhere a million times, a million of lenses. But Hitchcock, I was one of those ones where I was glad I saw it. Yeah. Some of them. I mean, some of them, like Vertigo, I already lived. Like, I saw the Treehouse of Horror. I got it. But the Psycho lineage, I mean, it falls off, let's be real, after the first one. But at least that first one is a, bang-up job.
She did direct League, but the answer was big.
Oh, it was big. Oh, damn. There you go. I mean, Big's a problematic movie, Ryan, right? Because he had a big body, but he had a child's mind. And although I would have plowed her too, it is something she's going to have to deal with. Because as they were splitting up, and he turns around and he's now a child in a man's suit, and he's like, hey, waving with his suit flopped hand over. Hey, bye. Thanks for all the sex. I'm 13. And she's like a 27-year-old highly paid executive at like an advertising agency. And she's like, what the fuck? She drives off in her Saab, like questioning the rest of her life. She was probably begging at that point to be like, I wish I had a twin to swap places with. I had an encounter with a child in an adult body, and now I get to see him as a child. Like, imagine finding out. You wouldn't find this out, but imagine, like, think of somebody you've had sex with. Like, you're dropping them off after a sexual encounter. They're walking their door, and there's their 12-year-old self as they turn around in, like, giant clothes. How would that fuck you up? I don't know.
That's weird.
Some might be a lot,
never saw
some
that
might
movie.
Be none. It's not bad. It's one of those ones where it's kind of like, I don't know. It was frustrating for me as a kid because, like, yeah, what would you do? Like, you ask to be big, you get to be an adult now, but like your mom doesn't recognize you, so you're homeless. But of course, you're not going to luck into being just like rich as shit and like having sex with hot ladies.
Yeah.
Plus, what was that experience like for her? He was a child in a man's body, I understand. But when she wants to get down to business, like,
yeah, right.
You know, he's like popping wheelies and they're singing songs about going to the mall. She whips those cans out and he's like, like. Oh, come on, man. I feel like I saw Doug McClure back there.
Of terror comes the masterpiece of horror, Hitchcock's Psycho, tonight at 8 on Channel 5.
As mayor, would you tell Evie how interesting politics is?
It's a pit on
Yeah, that's definitely Doug McClure.
Is it true that you're a...
Spinning
What's going
at
on with this
point?
thing? Get out of here. Anyway, let's talk about Doug McClure for a little bit, guys, because if you are at all familiar with my other show, which you're probably not, Raiders of the Lost Genre, Doug McClure comes up a lot in regards to lost places, like the land and the time and the people that, or the land and the people and the something that time forgot. It's a 3-part series. Pretty insane. I mean, not for nothing. Like 70s bodies are strange, right? Like, but that's another thing I don't get is like sometimes 70s bodies are strange. Where you see Richard Boone and Have Gun Will Travel. He's got like a dad bod, nothing too special, nothing to write home about. You can see he's got some fitness, like he rides horses and shit like that happens. But then you see like Charles Bronson with his shirt off in the 70s, and like he just looks like a regular dude in clothes.
Right.
But then you see him with his shirt off, and he's like a swole up little dude with all these muscles. You go, God damn.
Swole up little dude.
He's not like a huge dude. But like, it's just whatever. It blows me away. Having some connectivity issues.